Hi there, so great win for us today, beating Lens 6-0 in the Champions League. Your thoughts on the game?
Well, I have to say, I wonder how we lost the away game there, because they were poor. Arsenal played well, but they weren't brilliant. They weren't really outstanding, but Lens were rubbish, and every time the ball went in their box, we looked like we might score, and in fact we practically did every time. It was so bad. At half time I rang my wife and said to her, Mikel Arteta wants to know if you'd like to play the second half. And she said, why is it that bad? I said, no, we're 5-0 up. Do you want a game? No, it was a good display by Arsenal. You can't take it away. They can only beat what's in front of them. But Lens offered nothing except for their number 9, who I thought looked quite impressive, but he had no one to work with. Defensively we played well. Gabriel was excellent. Saliba had one or two poor moments in the first half, which is unlike him, but this was the game for him to do it, no doubt. All in all, 6-0 at home, what more can you want? It was an excellent performance, a brilliant first half. Second half, they obviously took their foot off the gas, Arsenal, and understandably so. They've got a heavy fixture list coming up. I'm surprised that some of the changes weren't made a little bit earlier. I mean, at 5-0 up at half-time, you would have thought the treatment that Saka got in the first half, getting kicked every time he got anywhere near the ball, why keep him on for another 25 minutes? They could have subbed him at half-time and given Reece Nelson a good run. And one or two others also they could have protected. But having said that, it's an excellent result. We're qualified, top of the group. If we'd have scored another goal, we would have gone straight into the second knockout stage, I think. It just goes to show you, I mean, the away game we played well and we were unlucky to lose, but they played well in the second half against us there. And here they offered nothing. So very happy. Nice preview before the game, watching Manchester United throw away a 2-goal lead and end up hanging on for a 3-3 draw in Turkey. Man of the match, nobody was that outstanding. As I said, Gabriel played well. I know you thought he was man of the match. I think Jesus probably, because his control and first touch was excellent, and for the first goal that Havertz scored, he won the ball well in the air to head it at the goalkeeper. And I think I'd probably just give it to Jesus, but not anybody really outstanding for Arsenal tonight. The argument about should he have stuck with Ramsdale after the weekend rather than put Raya straight back in, I didn't see anything in Raya's distribution that made me believe that he's any better than Ramsdale at that. So that argument will continue, no doubt, and I just hope we can keep both of them at least till the end of the season, so that we've got top-class goalkeeping to get us through to the business end.
Well, I think I'll just start with that. I imagine, now that we're qualified top of the group, whatever happens, he'll play his reserve team. So, Reece Nelson, Ramsdale, Jorginho, Nketiah, some other internationals that might be fit that don't tend to play for us very much. So I think he'll play him in the next game away at PSV. Ramsdale needs minutes, otherwise he will get rusty, as we saw. But I think Arteta's obviously made his mind up about his number 1. I think part of it is the positioning that he takes up off the ball to make himself available, and his high starting position, which I don't think Ramsdale's that comfortable, but that's another debate for another time. To be honest, we won 6-0, we didn't get out of second gear. As my dad said, I thought Gabriel was brilliant. There was that brilliant moment in the second half where their forward, who was super speedy, was trying to get round his right hand side to sneak in to run for the ball going down the side, and just nudged him and nudged him and nudged him, and eventually the ball just ran through to Raya. And it was things like that, and then that block at the end, just before injury time, when they had that chance that they nearly got that chance, and he made a block and it went out for a throw. Because 6-0, the games that makes no difference, but his desire to keep fighting for that clean sheet, and he won everything, every duel, everything he went in for. His passing was accurate. As I say, I thought he was better than Saliba today. So for me, I'm going to give man of the match to Gabriel Magalhaes. There wasn't anyone who was like tearing it up amazingly, although I did like Kai Havertz's little shimmy there that sent 2 of their players the wrong way towards the end of the second half, and another goal where he's ghosted in with a late run to put it in from close range. And if he wants to keep doing that, 60 million down the day and Kai Havertz scores again, very, very happy with that one. Again, you can start to see the confidence coming in a bit more with him, which is good, because he is a good player. We just need to bring it out of him more. 6 different scorers. By half time, your front 3 and your 2 attacking midfielders have all scored. Not a bad choice with your selection there. You can't really argue that too much. And yeah, it'll make certain teams in Europe look up and go, maybe we need to think about Arsenal if we get drawn against them. Yeah, easy to take that break, because obviously the next Champions League game falls between Villa away and Brighton at home. So to be able to say, well, we can tell everybody that we're really worried about, they can put their feet up for a week and just focus on preparing for that, is going to be huge, because we've struggled at home against Brighton in the last few seasons since they've been promoted. And Villa away, whilst they have got to go to City midweek a day after we go to Luton before we play them, they have currently got 6 wins from 6 or 7 wins from 7 at home, and they haven't lost at home since, who was it? Oh yeah, Arsenal beat them last season at Villa Park in that brilliant Jorginho off the bar for Martinez's own goal, hilarious 90th minute, before Martinelli got to celebrate before he put the ball in the net to make it 4-2. So yeah, very controlled, very measured, great first half, very comfortable second half. Nice to see Jesus get some more minutes under his belt. Kivior looked a little bit rusty when he started, but he grew into the second half for me, and that was nice to see. Nice to see Ben White get a few minutes again coming in from injury. And I get the idea of resting Zinchenko and Tomiyasu, because they are essentially our 2 first choice left backs, and obviously Tommy's our first choice cover right back for Ben White. So yeah, with the busy period, it was good to be able to rotate those players. Yeah, so you can't complain. I think the most dangerous thing Lorms did was when they threw the flare up into the crowd from the fans, because they weren't anything. It was awful, but I'll take it.
Yes, so we've wrapped up our group, finishing top. That's really good going forwards for the next round. We know now we won't play any of the first place teams. Could still get a difficult team at finishing second, but it is always good to top the group. And as you said, we can rest players now for that final group game, so we can focus fully now on the Premier League. Got the FA Cup coming up as well, but now until the Champions League resumes in February, we can really focus on the Premier League, and we are top of the league. I haven't seen you in a while. We've managed to get ourselves up to top now.
Absolutely, we have.
Done really well to get there.
And the interesting thing is that we have got there without yet being at our best in the league, with 1 or 2 exceptions. We have played well, but we haven't been as brilliant or as fantastic as an attacking force as we were last season. But we are much better defensively, and we are looking far less likely to concede goals. So, and you know, they say that attacks win you games, strikers win you games, defenders win you trophies. And it's true. I mean, look how we did under George Graham, built from the back, and we're getting the defensive side of things much better now. So the football's not quite as thrilling, and they're not breaking very often quite as quickly as they did last season. But when our attacks break down, we don't look like we're going to concede every time the opposing team gets over the halfway line. So, you've got to take a view on it, and the view is we're where we are. We will get better and more eye-catching and attack more quickly and look more like the team from last season going forward, but with the security that defensively players are much more effective than they were last season. And it also, I think, has emphasised what a loss Saliba was towards the end of last season. He has been outstanding so far this season for Arsenal, particularly in the Premier League. And you can see the difference. But all in all, it's been a good start to the season. We're doing well. We were very unlucky with the Newcastle scenario. I'm not going to rake that up again. Even though Alan Shearer thought it was a foul with somebody putting their hands on somebody's back last night when it was Newcastle. They didn't think it was when they did it to. I don't understand that. But putting that aside, they've been good, they've been effective, and they've been sound this season, Arsenal, and hopefully they will continue that. And if they can bring a bit more spark into the attack, that would be great. But if they play the rest of the season as they have so far with the same kind of results, we'll all be celebrating in May.
I think to the point about our lack of ability or our lack of cutting edge, there are two things to say. Number one, we're getting a lot more respect from teams. A lot of teams, Brentford was a prime example, they camped in their box. So you don't have the space for your wide players to speed down past them, and they're doubling up on Saka and Martinelli. So this is where having Havertz do what he did on Saturday night and again today, the ability to make that late run to crash into the box, because when you defend that deep, you have to concentrate for 90 plus whatever minutes, because if you give Bukayo Saka one chance, he'll put in a brilliant ball and somebody's going to get a chance like that to score. And we've got the player to do that, and he's starting to come to that at the right time, which is good. The other thing that I would say is Brentford was the first time, I think, apart from Everton away, where Martinelli, Saka and Jesus all started for us this season. And even then, that was only for 20 minutes till Martinelli got injured and had to go off, and that changed how we then attacked at Goodison Park. So we haven't had our first choice front three. Odegaard just coming back from injury and concussion and illness and layoff as well. So Brentford was also a bit tougher to judge that all on, because Odegaard coming back from injury, Jesus coming back from injury in 90 odd minutes in a long flight, Martinelli a long flight, 2 internationals, Gabriel also, although it was less of an issue for him. So our attack didn't really get going because they were sort of shaking the cobwebs a bit. The other player that I think we miss in terms of going forward is Partey, and his ability to play the line-breaking pass as a disguise, and the speed that he gets the ball on the half-turn and sets us away in attack, and we've missed that. And even his ability to pick out a long ball. You think about back to the City game, when we got that goal, Partey's come on, what does he do? He gets the ball up to Tommy quite quickly, onto Havertz, who lays it off to Martinelli, who scores. Because we got the ball forward quickly, he picked it, he knows how to turn out of trouble and play that. And Declan Rice has many qualities. I love him, he's a brilliant signing, £105 million bargain. Genuinely, maybe we should phone West Ham up and ask if they want a bit more money. No, not really. But it is. But he doesn't have that yet. It will come, because he's a very good learner. But it will come. Once he gets that ability to do that, we're going to properly pop. And the other thing as well is, if we continue to score goals like we did against Brentford, where we got a player that arrives late and gets that, teams are suddenly going to go, we can't just defend our box against Arsenal, and they're going to have to come up at us a bit more. And that's when you got your space in behind to go, right, okay, Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, on your bike, away you go, and we'll start getting in behind again. Because if we keep finding solutions to what they keep doing, they have to find new ways. So it will come. I'm pretty confident. But the metrics, certainly defensively, if you look at it, our expected goals against, deservedly, we are the best defensive team in the league on expected goals against and actual goals against. And that is something that is very sustainable. And our attack will improve as our top players come back and hopefully can stay fit. And as our new players are learning in each other and our systems, and everybody learns that they can play that ball half a second earlier or look for that pass because they know he's making the run. There are still a few times tonight where Havertz looked to make a spin off from behind and then it wasn't played and he had to come back because he'd strolled offside or run offside. And you just think about a couple of things like that where if they're playing those clip balls through in a game because they know he's making those runs and making that pass a second or half a second earlier, he's going to get opportunities to drive us up and come forward, as will other players. So I'm very confident with how we're doing going forward, figuratively and literally. And I think that's going to definitely stand us in good stead as we go into the next round of games and hopefully get to the business end of the season. We've decided this season what we're going to do is get our injuries out of the way early, and then when it's the business end of the season we can have them all back, as opposed to what we've done for the last couple of seasons. So it's certainly a good place to be. Top of the league, top of the Champions League group, qualified in that position. Yeah, happy days.